Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, and Tina Bird. I'm calling from the big island of Hawaii. It's pouring rain right now. We have a lot of crazy weather going on here. It hasn't been warm here, and we haven't been getting much sun. So I haven't been able to see too much UFO activity because I couldn't get out. But the few times I did, there was just so much stuff going on. I'll get into that in a little bit. But let me say hello, Tina. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Tommy. Greetings. I'm doing a show tonight. I've not been well all week. Until yesterday, I couldn't even talk. So if you do hear me coughing and sneezing, I apologise now. And if you see it glitching a lot, it's because it's very cold here in England at the moment. But it's also raining heavily in Hawaii, where Tommy is. So signal is a bit bad. If I do lose my throat, I do apologise now. But back over to Tommy.
All right, people. I hope you read the preview of the show. I've been a rebel. I always have been. And I've been trying to get somebody to refer to what I wrote and come back to me or get back to me in a way or another, but they don't. So I'm going to go over a few things, like why they should be talking about things other than what they're talking about. I mean, all these conferences every week, another one. And these people are making tons of money, people paying lots of money, but there's no information there. Nothing important, nothing beneficial. I mean, if you want to just party with a bunch of people, it's okay. But if you're really trying to learn something or get involved with what's really going on, I wouldn't say that's the place to go. Because all the top people are going on about stories about the government, what they did a long time ago. Do we care right now? Biden just granted them what, $732 million or whatever it was, might have been $1 billion, and for the war, quote, UFO thing. So guess what? He has to know what's going on. I mean, for him to spend that kind of money, but there's a big chance we could be going to war with China. And I think that's what most people are more. I'm seeing the questions coming up every day now. Are we friends with China or are we enemies with China? Are we going to go to war with China or not? Well, we will go to war with China. They're preparing for it. They have been. They want to be the ruler of the planet. So as far as what we're going to do about it, we can't do much right now. But I think Biden's really stockpiling weapons and building things. Now, China just shot, 2 missiles up this week again? So tell me they're not preparing for something.
Well, actually, Tommy, I think they're preparing for something, but I don't think it's what the Earth is suspecting. Now, I have a couple of questions, actually. So going back, let's start with Roswell and work our way forwards kind of very quickly. So things we say in this modern day and age and what we're preparing for and what we're looking for and the amount of money the governments are giving to people. Now, while I've been ill this last couple of days, I've gone over a few old programs on the telly, and I've come up with some questions relating to what Tommy just said. The amount of expenditure, so it's seven point billion, whatever it is, dollars the Americans have given out. Is it to a UFO project in America or something? What do you think?
Well, they call it war program. Okay. And the space program is our war program, just in case people don't realize that.
Before we start, I have a couple of questions about specifically leading up to that and everything that's kind of culminated to that. So just follow my kind of train of thought if you can keep up with it. I'm crazy if it makes sense. Right. Now, there were some principles I was watching. So knowing what I've known, what I've been through, trying to perceive it how a member of the public would perceive it over many decades. So like you see more decades than me because you're older, but you've probably seen it like after Roswell and things like that, up further. So and are still speaking about Roswell today and other things, but going back now a bit further than it. Going back, that Coleman. It's been happening a lot lately. So there are some principles put in place. Now, there's a declaration of principles concerning the search for extraterrestrials. So, in section 3, by the way, this was written by Dr. Paul Davis in 1989. It's the practical principles of SETI. Now, it's a book or a document that was written about what would happen. And I think there was originally one also written later on that was given to the UN General Office and the Officer in General of the UN, whoever was looking after that. Now, it said in section 3, under the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, what would happen once life had been found or confirmed to have been seen? I do apologise again, I'm just getting over my cold. Now, who would take control? 2017, outside of our universe, outside of our solar system, but outside of our universe, an object, pictures of this, but that were never released. They showed pictures of the as it moving with speed retrospectively to the stars. Now, when this thing entered our universe, and it did a slingshot around the sun, missed other planets, found its way past Earth, did another slingshot around the Earth, and then went back to where it came from, kind of in that direction. Now, when that happens, it was said that Moa was the first object found and seen and recorded outside of our universe that made intelligent control moves. Now, this was confirmed and seen in 2017. Bearing in mind, this was written in 1989 by professors all over the world, and SETI agreed, search for extraterrestrial intelligence, agreed on these principles. Now, once it had been confirmed, it's seen and confirmed, these principles should have been put into place. Now, who would have been taking control? What country, or would it have been a panel? So we're now SETI, or we are now at the Pan-STAR Observatory. I believe that's in Hawaii or somewhere like that. I'm not sure. And so, who is in charge of that? Who then does the Pan-STAR Observatory report to? Who in England or China or Jamaica or the UN or America or Russia, what member of their country then comes forward either to make a panel or what countries forward to say, we speak for this planet on the behalf of mankind? What nominated person and who was given them that right or that responsibility to speak on behalf of mankind and send a message? Because as far as I've been aware, and I've not probably seen it, if it has someone's made a statement, I do apologise, but not of anybody coming forward from the media, from another country, from any form of military or the scientific community to state, or the UN, we get to the UN in a minute, to state that they would confirm that they would take this position and they would speak on behalf of mankind and have these questions ready like a welcoming committee. What would they say? What would they come from? How would they be tracked? Now, I have a few other questions around that, but that could be for another time. Is Pan-STAR actually took pictures of these things, and they're showing a little video online. It's a couple of seconds long of them tracking it, moving retrospectively to the stars at speed, coming into our universe. If they were tracking it, surely not only did that observatory see it, it had to be confirmed by another one or two observatories around the world. I believe there was one in Australia, and I'm not sure if there's one in Buenos Aires, Brazil, or any more. The Arecibo one, I think that was taken down. I'm not sure. Now, surely other radios or telescopes saw this. Now, I haven't seen a scientific picture been published in any paper online or anywhere of what this thing actually looked like. Now, if it's shot around the moon, the other planets, We can see Venus. Sometimes we can see Jupiter. Even though they're like the other way, we can still see them. This thing was coming at us at speed. We should and could, and all these like the Hubble telescopes, all the other things may have been looking under. They've got the Grayson satellites that just look around the Earth. All these satellites, the space station, probably it was on the wrong side of the Earth. But at some point, one of these other satellites, or a satellite in another country, or a ground-based a radio or an observatory somewhere should have taken pictures. Why hasn't the public been privy to us seeing that? It's a step forward for mankind in the world. Nobody's seen that. It's been so long now. They've detected another object coming to university 18 months. I believe we heard nothing about that. Now, not only has no one come forward from the SETI's rule of conduct, so does the rule of conduct for SETI's not being used anymore? Is it out the window? Is that not been arranged? Has it not been updated? And who is taking control of that? If they're taking control of that, when are they making that announcement to the public? That's all I'm saying. Two, this Moa was a huge object coming in. Everything with any defense missiles coming towards the Earth should have been tracking that. So you should have had thousands upon thousands or millions of pictures taken and videos and scans and sounds, or is it near Earth? NOAA, the NOAA project, near Earth orbit, whatever, anything should have been taken, especially Pan-STARRS. So my argument is if you've got all this equipment around the world, it's either doing us no good and we'll scrap it all and start giving them money, or every observatory around the world saw this and failed to release the pictures to the public. I mean, if they saw this thing coming in from another universe, a once in a lifetime opportunity, if that's what it was, every camera in the world in my universe, they know we're not going to watch that tonight or track that anymore. So how would they know it's slingshot around the sun to come past us to go back out unless they're tracking it? If they're tracking it, they're taking pictures of it, their radars, scans, and what have you. Anyway, that's one point. Moving on, we've got to the UN now. Now, it's my understanding, so please correct me if I'm wrong. I do watch some telly, but I don't watch an awful lot, and I'd like to do more, but obviously I can't with my time. Now, excuse me. The UN Office of Outer Space Affairs have asked people not to send them questions, but the UN Office has an agenda set aside for what happens when intelligent life comes to Earth, but it's not been disclosed and people can't ask questions about it. Who would again be in charge of the UN? Who would disclose it to the world? What would they say to beings, and who would be in charge? What country or what person, or from what religion, or from what walk of life, or what experience would give them the right to speak to them? Again, I don't think that's been released to the public. That would be handy for the public to know in a time of crisis. Everybody has an emergency plan. It's 2022 now. Where's the emergency plan for the public? We have emergency plans for fire, water, flooding, to help other people. You have defibrillators for the public. That's an emergency plan. A threat to life. That's an emergency plan. We have 999 or 111 or 911 in America and other countries. So we have a plan, a number to dial. What is that number to dial in case of contact? There you go. So for them to say that public's not ready for things like this, or them to say that any government word to say that it's going to cause mass hysteria, you're not prepared for something and you're going to keep denying it. It's a bit like having an unexpected pregnancy. You don't plan for it or don't know anything about sex or raising a child or a very young parent, and know they're pregnant, and not unexpectedly you give it is an emergency. So unless you know what's going to happen, what to prepare for, who to go to and who to turn to for advice, then you will get panic. So education there is the best thing across the board, in my opinion. So who do we accountable? So going back again, people that have accumulated to extraterrestrial contact. Now, you could say over the years we are a victim of our own demise, kind of thing. What I'm getting at is, years ago we sent 1977. We sent Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 out on their paths. They had golden discs on them, and in these golden discs, excuse me, were encrypted messages on what Earth was like. There was pictures, images, sounds, recordings on a disc, and everything was put into grooves on these discs. Now, going back in China many years, thousands of years ago, they found that these Draper stones were made or found or crashed from they don't know, the Draper stones they were called. Now, it was found that these Draper stones had, it was like a discus, if you like. But you can imagine if you flattened out that discus, or the discs with a hole in the middle, and you put a needle on a record player, it will play. It was found to have a language written on them. It's found to have some type of hieroglyphics on them. Now, it was also, when you played it or it was moved, it made a sound or a magnetic vibration. I believe it had nickel and something else in them. So when they choose to use a precious metal in space, gold, when they played these records or were shown how to play them, it wasn't like a mankind modern thing of the 70s. These Draper stones are thousands of years old. So they're taking old technology, maybe not from Earth, applied it with our humanity, things about humanity, where we live, to find our address in the universe and send it off out there for who knows to read. Not an accident crashing on a planet by mistake and us picking up their technology and using it. They're sending off a written invitation into space, asking whoever, hey, here we are, come and find us. You know, this information could have been given to us or received it accidentally, not meant to go around the universe shouting out, hi, we're here. Perhaps we're here all alone on our own for a reason. Now, anyone out there would like to fill me in? I would like to know who at the UN's office would represent the human race in this. What initiative was actually used in Section 3 to confirm a Moa? This was its actual contact. If it's come from a different place, it's under intelligent control, which the scientists confirm. So if the scientists confirm intelligent control from a Moa came from out of it, what out of our universe, what codes of practice were put into place, who initiated them, and who was put in charge? Again, who's in charge of that? And again, education is a key thing here. So if we know that SETI is not going to run around by the rules or NASA, one person like the UN or one company or one organization, hey guys, aliens are coming. Oh, we've done a little book. There's your little book. Aliens are coming. This is know what to do. We have a plan. This is who's going to speak on our behalf. There will be a panel of people who will go forward and speak. This is where they're all from, and they were chosen because of this. No one has put that in a booklet. No one has told the general public. We do need to know these things, guys. I don't want to take up all the time. I'll let Tommy have another 5 minutes before I have another little rant about something else. Tommy, any crap what I've just said?
All right. Yeah. The first thing is they got that all figured out. They know what they're doing. All right. It's UN agenda. Okay. Is all based what they're creating. And that's going to happen be fulfilled within the next 8 months. All right. 8 months, 8 years, sorry. But the problem is, they got the people involved, set up who's going to talk to the aliens when they come down. All right. Like, these aliens are going to want to talk to some person that somebody else picked out. Everything they're doing is a complete twisted lie. And what they tell us is even more lies because, okay, where this money is going, they're not talking about the underground cities. They're not talking about bases on the moon and Mars. They're talking about the space program. All right, what are they doing with it? All right, getting back to the new cars. We're still worrying about Tesla's cars. China's going to release 2 new cars the next month that are supposed to surpass the car. They got a brand new car they're releasing in the United States. It's better than a Tesla car. It's about cars right now trying to eliminate fuel, which they can't do because it takes fuel to create the cars. It's a contradictory everything they're selling and telling the people that the people believe. It's not about being efficiency. as far as pollution. They don't care about pollution. They don't care about nothing. They don't complain about contamination to people. This whole virus deal is growing and expanding greatly. Now on the news today, they said it's probably going to just disappear real soon because it's already shrinking in New York and Hawaii and everywhere else. And we got the highest number ever in Hawaii right now with it. All right. But again, that was released from the United States to China years ago, documented, not publicly. They said it was stolen from our lab, and then China got it. Really? I have a friend that worked inside the lab where it was given to China, where they took it out and sent it to China. So the whole concept of where did it come from, who started it, that's all lies. The UFO world, they're never going to come clean. Because when the aliens start marching around the planet, the only way that will end is if it was just like the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still. They're not going to tell anybody. Majestic 12, which is actually Majestic 32, their whole mission is to make sure nobody knows what they're doing. Period. I mean, wherever there's an army base, there's an alien army base.
I have a question about MJ12, and I'll watch the documentary, and I'll write my question. You'll be proud, Tommy, so I'll get to it. I wrote a question down about MJ12. Please excuse my glasses for a second, because I don't want to get it wrong. Right now, I watched this documentary, and so here we go. Right, MJ12. Right now, MJ12. If I understand, that President Harold Truman put together a board or group of people called Majestic 12, MJ12. Now, this was formed amidst the backdrop to research Roswell. Is that right?
No. Not at all.
This documentary I watched said that MJ12 was put together and it was formed to research alien technology found or deployed from crashes and from like places like Roswell and things like that. Now, Roswell was said to have been a weather balloon. So if they knew it wasn't a crash, now weather balloons. Hold on, let me finish. Go with my line of thinking. If a weather balloon crashed in a desert, it would be miles across the ranch and wouldn't catch fire. If it did, it would be over in seconds. It wouldn't burn half the night, and the farmer would have to go miles into town and tell the sheriff about it. 1. 2, if it was a weather balloon and they identified it as a weather balloon, they wouldn't take and use thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of dollars worth of money and security to research and investigate a weather balloon crash. Now, carry on with what you're going to say about MJ12.
Let me cut you up there right now. Hold on. I have a friend, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say his name or anything. Hopefully, we're going to have him on the show in the next couple of weeks or whatever. All right. I mean, he was little, but his family was friends with Barney Hill. So the facts were so twisted every which way that came out of that. I had a friend, Robert Morningstar, who actually 3 ships crashed during that time frame. His grandfather and 2 other elders, they weren't elders at the time, took an alien up into the mountain for 9 months and worked with that alien until the ship came down and took that alien away. He wrote a thesis on that, won a gold prize and all kinds of stuff. But basically, they didn't want to believe this story. But he traveled the United States. I did a vision quest with him and everything else. He took me out to Sedona, and then we went up to Flagstaff, where the government is cloning grays. All right? I'm not going to get into that in detail. The story is incredible, but it's horrible. And your first question you should ask, why would they want to clone grays? Grays want to clone us. Why? But here's the thing. When that was all going down, MJ12 was covering up every aspect of anybody coming out, talking about it, and things like that. That could be. And all the movies you watch, how they covered up the scenes, even in Long Island, which wasn't too long ago when the ship crashed there. And John Ford's still in the nut house right now. They won't let him go to court. He filmed the best UFO crash on this planet. I saw the video. I wish I filmed it, but he was put in that house. They said he had uranium and he was going to kill Congress. A barrel of uranium, top it off. So that's how they arrested him. Well, the week before, I did a show with Sergeant 18 called Strange Universe. We put video of a ship going through space, stopping and shooting out these ships and everything. It was taken off the air the next week. The following week, John Ford was arrested. So it was a complete cover-up, and that's today. I mean, I have 15 of my best friends that disappeared in the past 25 years. All right. So MJ-12 is the MJ-32, but they're more active now than they have ever been, because with all the people taking pictures, all the videos everywhere, nobody is coming out with any proof. How's that? Now, and I throw this out there because people think there's good aliens. All right. There's good mind programming going on. I was working with hypnosis when I was 12, and I was hypnotizing everybody by the time I was 14. You can hypnotize anybody to do anything you want them to do, which hypnosis centers and say that you can't do that. It's baloney. I worked with an army hypnotist as well. Then I started doing psychic implant removals and past life regression. I was the first person to do it. And when I was doing it, I wasn't making money. I wasn't charging people and everything. But I found out so much information about things because missing time, so many people have missing time and don't think about it. Well, I was sitting in my car and it was like 2 hours later or 3 hours later. I don't know. I was going to court against New Jersey Bell. They were saying I was hurt on a UFO. All right. They didn't want to pay my medical bills. In that, I didn't say I was hurt on a UFO. And they said, well, you were on TV and you talked about a UFO. And I said, yeah, but I didn't get hurt on a UFO. But that was a court case. It went on for 2 years. I moved out to California and had to fly back every 6 months to go to court. Then halfway through it, the judge goes to me, I want to see you after the court's over. The judge told me he was with his wife in the car and the ship came over him. The car stopped and he goes, you got pictures of this? And I had to show him pictures and everything. So, I mean, it's been a cover up. People out there mainstream. One person I deal with, I can't say her name, can't say where she's from or any of that, but she's dealing with 120 doctors and lawyers right now. They don't know what happened to them. They don't know. Some of them say they're a little more psychic. Some of them are really afraid about everything now. I mean, they can't come out and say anything because they'll lose their business. And this person's working with them right now. But an alien came right to their conference. 8 foot 7 inch alien comes walking in the door. All right. But things that are happening are crazy, and there's no proof out there mainstream. Don't you think something's wrong with the picture? There's how many people? 8 billion people on the planet. Oh, yeah. Wait, Tina. How many people have cameras? How many people are filming ships and creatures and everything? And why is not one thing mainstream? One thing agreed on by the president, the government. Good, Tina.
Well, that was my next. Now, to get back to your original question at the beginning, which was about everyone's going to war and the cost of the war program and that. Now, getting back to expenditure and why they're looking into things and war and who's actually in charge. Now, what body is actually in charge of the earth? I know we have many, many, many different countries. What body would now represent Earth? You've got so many independent things from so many different countries flying about our planet. Who's in charge? What body is going to say enough is enough? Stop, for one. Two, they're spending so much money on space exploration now. You've got starvation coming. We've got floods coming, earthquakes, tsunami. We've had drought warnings here. Apparently, in the next 10 years in England, in the UK, we're going to be out of water. We've got prices going up for fuel, for gas, electric, water, food. We have shortages in chemists, and that's going on now. Now, on top of the pandemic and everyone being vaccinated, I've got to throw out to all the conspiracy theorists, because it does seem like we're heading in the conspiracy theory middle territory. I think a lot of them have it bang on. Humanity is driving forward. They have all this expenditure, all these programs with no results, No one's coming forward. No one's claiming responsibility for the planet. We're all working together. Under what guise? Under whose authority? And how are they helping us? Now, if they were to turn and say, in 2027 or next year, the reason why you're seeing so many UFOs now is because others are coming and they're not supposed to come here. Or there is an asteroid coming with loads of aliens on it and it's going to attack us in 2 years' time or 5 years' time.
Tina, let's kind
now,
of
that's the reason why
two
you're seeing more
questions at a
UFOs
time.
are either coming here and surveying the planet, or they're either going. Sorry, I'll cut off there. I'll stop there. Go.
Tina, we got to keep the questions. I can't answer 1,000 of them. I got the answers for every question you ask, but I can't answer them all at the same time.
Different, yeah. I'll slow down. I'll just start.
1996. All right. When I did the show called Strange Universe, it was taken off the air. That year, they killed 200 top scientists. They killed about 180 UFO people. That 1 year. All right. When you say who controls the world, the rich people control the world, but who controls the rich people? I mean, you got Musk, Gates, and Bosco, whatever his name is, controlling everything that's happening right now. But it has nothing to do with what's really going on. The UN Agenda 21 is the New World Order. They know what they're creating. It's worldwide. It was accepted by 190. So they know what they're going to do. They know what's happening. We're in Tina. We're in phase 4. Phase 4 of the UN Agenda 21. All right. Now, the next 2 years are going to be dramatically dangerous and bad every which way. And people aren't looking at, let's stop the banks. Let's stop money. Well, I don't want to go into, I don't want to talk about the UN agenda completely because that's not directly related to the UFO world. But getting back to who controls what? Our president controls the United States, and they control a lot of countries. But then you got Putin, who controls a lot of countries, and you got Mr. Chinese guy, whatever his name is, who controls. So you got 3 people that are going to control and try to balance out what they want to happen. Now, Putin wants global warming. He's had there working with 27 races, but he also said 2 alien races are trying to destroy the planet. If he said that, that's obvious that we had war with them, and we did. United States and Russia attacked 2 UFO alien ships in space with Tesla's technology. The aliens gave Tesla the technology. So it's a really vicious cycle. Who's feeding what information for what reason? Realize the planet Earth is in serious trouble every which way. Not just global warming, water contamination, food contamination, land, everything's dying. The animals are dying. Something's happening, all right? You think they want to stay here? The rich people have 2 things. They have an underground base or a city or a home. I mean, the tunnels all over the United States go to other countries as well. So it's not like the Russians are these and the Chinese are these. The people that have money, that have power, that bought the cities and homes, I guarantee Oprah has one of the best houses underground. All right. Now, the old place where they had the missile storage, they turned that into an underground city. So where are all these people? What are they doing? Now, I'll tell you one quick thing. They were pumping all the water from California to the underground city. I have a person that tracked it, filmed it, where it goes down into this underground city. And when they go, we got a water shortage. Yeah, they pumped all the water underground. So they have their plans. It's not about people. It's not about poor people, and it's not about middle-class people. And they said, all these people saying buy stocks, you'll be a millionaire in 2 years. They care about the money. It has nothing to do with life or any of those kind of things. The underground cities have the most purest food on the planet. All right. But here's one thing. They don't realize if one serious bacteria got down inside their underground city, it could wipe them all out instantly. All right. Which will happen because, I mean, if you don't believe in a God, whatever you believe in, something's in power in controlling a lot of the things. Why the world's destroyed so many times and still hanging out. It will be eventually destroyed. When I was traveling, I was friends with Thomas Bignacca, the oldest Hopi elder before he died. And he showed out the Hopi prophecies were exactly the same as the Tibetan prophecies. Tibetan was taken over by China. They lost. Now, the native people, they said if the white man doesn't unite with the red man, they will destroy the planet. All right, which is coming so close, but it's going to be China that's going to start the fight. I mean, it's not going to be the U.S. I mean, who do they want to fight with? Nobody. All right, really. But again, there's always people like Iraq, Iran, and all those other countries that want to do what they think they can do to show off, to become a power. But we're in a serious place. Now, I go out in the morning, I could see 10 ships in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. All right. And then I got everybody in my neighborhood looking at ships. Everybody wants to buy lasers from me. Everybody wants to do this because there's so much going on. Go ahead.
Do you think, with your experience, that because we're seeing more craft, more sightings, do you think it's linked to our volcanology? We're having the more volcanism and volcanic eruptions we're having, the more UFOs we're seeing. Do you think that's directly linked in some way?
No, sorry, no. All right, when I first came to Hawaii, I made friends with a person, and he goes, I want you to come over my house. I've been filming ships going in and out of the active volcano. The person from Mexico, the governor, whatever his name is, he saw the ships going in and out of the volcano. We have pictures of ships going in and out of the sun. So their technology, what they are so different than what we are. All right, that's the first thing. Because people try to put that all together. It's not the same. But where we are right now, as far as technology, we have technology. We had 2 ships that could go to Mars 30 years ago, the Delphi and the Aurora. Both of them could go to Mars and back. And that completely got squashed out of the woodwork. Fred Bell, who was the one that worked on the HARP system for the government, was killed 2 days after he did the show with Jesse Ventura. All right, because they mentioned the HARP system. When I found out about the HARP system, I called the White House from the phone company where I was working, and they were listening on the phone, believe it or not. I got a package in the mail, 50-page letter, the next day delivered to my house. And it said the HARP system is just an experiment. It's nothing big. It's nothing happening. And that was right before it became known. And I was friends with one of the top people that discovered the HARP system, because they actually killed his father in a plane, and that's why he started doing the research on it. All right. His name's Nick Baggage. He's hiding out. He got a lot of money. He's changed as well. Everybody in the UFO world that gets money changes. And I'm debating. I told anybody in the UFO world to grow a pair of balls and come on my show. I had Laura Eisenhower, and we did a 2-hour show. And basically, she wouldn't say a word. She agreed with everything I said. And I know she didn't know anything. And she mentioned her grandfather. And I said, how come you don't know anything about your grandfather? Your mother should have gave you a little more information about him, how much she knew. But he was a victim after Truman. Truman created all the problems. Eisenhower went along with it. He didn't like everything, but he went along with it. He had to. MJ-12 controls the government. That's why. And when I met a person in MJ-12, I was friends with him for about 2 years. And then he was going to give us something. And it was based on the movie, The X-Files, and how it came about. But I was supposed to get something, and then he was dead. So I don't know any details of what the MJ-12 is doing right now. I'll say MJ-12, because that's what it was when I was talking to him and working and dealing with him. But the truth was there. I learned a lot because most people didn't know what went on in MJ-12. They didn't report to the president. They didn't have to. So they do work worldwide. And there's corporations, or whatever you want to call them, that are part of it around the world. It's a serious problem, but it's not going to change. All right. Now, when Denver Airport was built, I went over that many times. That's the airport base where the ship's coming in the near future. It was designed for that. I mean, I was the only one that had pictures of the flooring that said U.S. Air Force New World Order. I moved 3 times and I lost everything. My camera was swiped and everything. But even Behold the Pale Horse. Read that book, people. Understand what Denver Airport was and is. And what's going to happen with that. We got a lot of serious things happening.
Is it a blue horse there outside Denver, isn't it?
With the red eyes, yeah. It's cool looking. But when they had all the murals out, in the first 2 years it was open, they took them down and they closed the flooring. They ripped it out. It was steel flooring that said U.S. New World Order. They ripped the whole thing out and put a fountain there. I mean, I was wondering because I was trying to find it. But what they're doing, I mean, it's not about planet Earth. It's not about people. It's about rich people worrying about where they're going to live when the destruction to planet Earth happens. They think underground is going to be safe, which it isn't. And now they're going to think Mars is going to be safe, which it isn't. Now China's more concerned about moving on the moon, which is also not a beneficial place. I saw a video 22 years ago of the base on the other side of the moon. My friend's uncle shot it. He was in the ship that went around the moon. China's not releasing their pictures of what they found on the moon yet, are they? They were supposed to release them this week.
Yeah, no, they did. Apparently, it was like a
square box.
Like, not deep, but it was. Yeah, it wasn't. Apparently, it was like rocks or something.
They're not going to show us anything. Not with their plans. You know, people really think they could just make friends with aliens, like China thinks they can, Russia thinks they can. Aliens have an agenda, people. And I'm going to put this on every UFO person I know when I get off. But, you know, aliens have an agenda. It is not our agenda. When they say they're going to help us, I tell people, watch the movie V. It was a series on TV. Watch it. Watch how these aliens convinced the whole world they were helping us. And that's the way it's going to go down. They don't need anything we have except food. Go ahead, Tina.
I think to a degree Tommy is right. But to get that food, they either need to clone us, which is where the hybrid program people talk about comes into effect. It wasn't until I had some kind of stomach surgery that when I was retaken again, that's what the area they were observing to find out, I presume, what was going on there. But the embryos they took from me, and they had this ship, if you know my story, with billions of people's eggs on there. But they were taking them to grow them, but they were us and them. We can either produce, eat, reproduce. We can do something that they can't. They're either that's far advanced or they've over scientifically their bodies that they can no longer reproduce, recharge, or fuel themselves, which is why they need to go a bit of backwards with evolution, if you like, to our level and
well, Tina,
make the bodies that they can't.
You can talk greatly about the Greys because that's who's been abducting you. And they are dying out. That's why they got to breed themselves. The reptilians don't. They got a different reason altogether. When people talk about races, they have no clue what they're doing. The mantis control the reptilians. All right? The mantis is on every mother ship. And when we talk about the tall whites, oh, well, they're different. But the what's the other ones? The tall beings that they call some not the tall whites. What's the word? Come on, Tina, you must know. The other race, they all think it's Jesus. They think it's a spiritual being because they're dressed in white. They got a blonde hair, blue eyes, and they say it must be
Nordics.
Jesus. Huh?
Nordics,
the Nordics, yeah. People think that they're spiritual and they're good. I
haven't seen human-looking alien. Well, I haven't seen like blonde-haired, blue-eyed people. The beings that I've seen, or people call the Greys, I presume Greys, it may not be, but these things they're about 3 feet tall. They are glowing white. When you're there and you're under this light, it's like glowing bright white light. They look like the glowing white little beings. That's exactly what they look like. The taller ones, they're a good 1.5 foot taller. The little ones are about 3.5 feet, 2.5 feet. They're no taller than the end of the bedpost. When you've got a big bedpost, one was stood at the end of my bed by my door, and it was no taller than bedpost. But they look like the body, the outside, the body of a 10-year-old, but their neck is in the middle, or directly in the middle of the head. Now, car goes up at an angle. It goes straight up, and they had little thin shoulders. It was like a very thin little kid. It wasn't. You could plainly see that, and it was glowing white, and it wasn't on its own. There was a couple of them with it, but on these ships or the rooms, wherever they take you, the tall one, a bit taller, that's probably about 4.5 feet tall, less than 5 feet tall, about 4.5 feet tall. This thing, and that does look different. It is different to the others. It's thinner, the body's more elongated. The other ones, like you could line them up. They're different skin tones, but they're like they're like little jelly babies kind of things, if you like, but they're you couldn't tell them apart. If there was a load of them, then they do look the same, but they're like different skin tones. If there was like a little kid with him, you couldn't tell them apart. But the tall ones, yeah. But the ones that the night they took my partner, there was a bluey green light that came through the wall in our bedroom. I was turned on my right side, looking right, like in a fetal position, and I woke up and my eyes bulged forward. Everything was like a blacky blur, and they bulged forward, like they popped. And there's this thing moving, and my body was frozen. I was wide awake, and my eyes popped forward, and I was just trying to focus. I focused, could see my room clearly. I could not move. I could not move. Couldn't do anything. This thing literally had just moved. It wasn't a natural movement what we would walk and move. This thing bent at where our hips would be, but it wasn't. It was about this much lower than where our hip was on this side. And I see it move forward. It bent forward to like, and it wasn't like a crouching. It was more like a moving forward movement to look at the bedside cabinet. And I had like 3 little pictures of my dogs on there and some stuffed toys on my bedside cabinet. And it crouched. Just as it crouched forward, I couldn't see like the features of the face. His head was about this thick, but it was like a biscuit tin. So if you imagine that size of a human head, that's the size of the head. It looked like it had a bandage around it, but the back looked like it had mashed potato. It was flat. It was like that. It wasn't like a bulbous like our head. It was like this, and it looked at mashed potato stuck to the back of it. So the best a few years ago, I was sat down watching the telly here in the UK, and an advertisement came in for tree-born mints. And this thing was talking in a living room, I sat in a chair, and it had a fire burning. You could see like human feet, and all of a sudden stood up, or the camera swung around. I think it was a kid or a woman talking to another human being. It was a tree-born mints advert, and all of a sudden this thing stood up, like it had from the neck down, it looked human. All of a sudden it had this big round white face, and I screamed. And I think when I saw that, it freaked the hell out of me. I was not expecting. Didn't like the look of it. I just knew there was something about it, and it was the fact that I'd seen this thing, but it freaked me out. Normal head. This thing was huge. That this thing on the advert freaked me out. So that's the 3 different things I've seen, and the other being thing, I could call it thing. And I work at I work at a place where there's lots of animals, and this thing was wider than my body, and I was on this bed. I was on the flat on this thing, on this huge like counter bed thing. It wasn't even a bed; it was huge. I was in the middle of it, and this thing moved. This neck must have been 11 feet tall at a distance. This thing was wrapped around some type of counter or compartment or desk thing or whatever it was, and it was a movement to the right hand side, because I was just looking up, so I just called it out of my right hand eye. It's like an unwinding movement under the counter, and this thing swung. As it swung, the head was like, must have been that way, and it swung round, kind of a bit like a cross between a giraffe movement and an octopus, if you like. And this thing just swung round and up, and as it came up, it went down towards my toes and up over my body, and it stopped over my stomach. It was looking at something in my stomach, and it came up and up to my face, and it looked at me. I thought it was going to eat me. When it stopped over my stomach, I thought I was going to die. So, and it didn't. I didn't see a body. I just saw that the head on this thing was this wide. I kid you not, and it had huge like eyes like that, a thin like groove down its head, nose, and its mouth must have been like that, and it was over me like that, and the front of it came down. It was huge. I thought it was dead. I thought that was game over, and that was it. And that was terrifying. And then all of a sudden, it kind of looked at me like it couldn't believe it was looking at me with its eyes, and it went, as it moved up, I thought that was it again, and it just moved away, and the light went bright white, and that was it. So that's the only, apart from when I was in the pit, not the pit, I was on this travelator thing, and there's loads of human. I wasn't the only one. There's loads of human beings up there, and as it moved out this big light, and as it kind of moved, this movement, you can only see in front of you, and as it turned slightly, I got to see there's a bloke next to me, short, dark, really short, dark hair, like a grey silver suit. Couldn't see his feet. As we was like that, we came out like that. As it wasn't swinging, but as you went like that, and we went to turn, and we went. It was like a bendy shape. So as we come down on the bendy shape, I could from here, I could see like the chicane type of track, and this thing, I could see other human beings on there. There were hundreds of people, and there was and in the pit there was other beings down there. Hello to the other people that said hello on there. I'll just look at a few comments now. But also, they're the type of beings that I've seen. So I can only really comment on them. But if that's what's going on and our government does know about it, you want to be more frightened about what's going on the government doesn't tell you about. I mean, you know, well, I can't tell you more than that. And people say, why do you tell people? Because people should know. Sorry, Tommy, go on.
Well, there's a few things like why all these things are here. Very few people can talk about that. And basically, it was because of Tesla. All right, that's one thing. All right, the other thing is the first alien I actually saw. I hate to admit it because I don't like or agree with James Gillen at all. All right, him and me clash completely when we meet each other. But his who he claims he works with, Percy or whatever it is, the alien being that came over his house and everything, he started working with him. The first alien I saw looked the same. So it was probably the same race. But they weren't friendly and they weren't kind of spiritual at any level and stuff, which James Gillen makes his alien to be. I don't want to go on about James Gillen because him and me have a major war going on. But again, the truth is out there, people. Are you ready for it? Do you want to find it? Do you want to go deeper into where we're going? Further and further away from the truth. And the government doesn't care and nobody else cares. But the amount of abductions here in Hawaii is humongous. I could speak to 10 people, at least 3 or 4 of them were abducted, saw a UFO, or like they have missing time. So it's like whether they think Hawaii is a caretaker where they could just pick up people and take them and whatever. It's mind-boggling. But when I go out in the morning or at night, I see so much stuff. I know if the government wanted me, they'd take me out. I mean, I'm not talking about a lot of stories like all these other people are. And I don't talk about what the government's doing because there's nothing we can do to stop it. And they're here to protect us in some great way, the rich people at least. They're not here to protect you or me, but they're here to protect the United States. So is Russia. Putin cares about his country. So, yeah, they're fighting with aliens. And what are they doing? Are they going to tell the world? They don't want people to go crazy, but they just hired a couple of psychiatrists in the United States to work with people about UFOs and aliens now. All right. So are they going to admit that they're real at any level anytime soon? They cannot admit what they already did. When the Philadelphia experiment happened and they ripped the vortex open, it allowed, and it's allowing all these things to come in. The government can't close it. All right. And that's our problem. All these creatures.
That's right.
Repeat it because you're breaking up really bad.
Before we go, it's almost that time. Almost that time. I'm nearly one step closer to releasing my book. I've got to wait till I'm a lot better. It's only I've been off for a couple of days, but I've been so ill in bed with this cold again with my cough, and I do apologise. I have had these now made, so I'm going to show you this. Tommy, I'm going to send you one. So the first one I've actually wrote out to my mum. These are little like cards, postcards. It's like the size of a book cover. So this, and on the back you will find this, and there is a QR code. That QR code will then take you onto my website where you see a couple of my other books. And hopefully over the next month or two, as I get up to releasing my book, you'll see these. If you would like to own one of these, I will gladly sign it. This one I've just kind of let me know via Facebook or Messenger. So you can message me or out there in Hawaii. So I'll sign it because I've been ill. I haven't even been out of the house since last week. But I've also had some. The logo I've had under license, I had that made for me. It comes under Bird Books. It says me, author Tina Bird. And there's the back. So I've got the QR code on the back with my email for my books. My email's not being monitored at the moment. Well, not by me anyway. The government may be monitoring it. But not by me at the moment because I've got a lot going on. But if you message me on Facebook, I will sign one of these to you. Can you make sure it's in the English translation, please? I don't have a problem with sending one to any other country, but it would be great. I will sign one of these for you and send it to you from me. And people said, "Oh, why do you want to make money?" I don't really want to make money. I probably never will in my life. Not that anyone's ever going to buy my book, but people should know what is going on. They make all these programs about what's happening, and the government's making billions of pounds a year. Why not? Before we go, I'd like to. John is not with us. We normally have a guy come. Yep.
He's sick right now, right? So, best wishes to John. Hope you're feeling better. But Tina, your book's going to sell. Your book's going to be more important than a lot of.
When it comes out, yeah. To go through.
You're breaking up so bad, Tina. I'm sure it's your end this time.
We are getting there, but I just got to wait.
Sorry,
I think the first half that shows your end is my end, but yeah, it's bad signal all the way around.
Well, I don't know which.
I'm going to buy another Geiger counter.
She doesn't have a Geiger counter. We can't prove she's radioactive. We can't do that today. But I just want yours or mine. If who's blurry and who's not, who can they hear? If they can hear me or not, can they hear you? Because you've been breaking up the whole time now. So Tina Bird, people, you want to get in touch with her, go online. She's in what? Twitter and Facebook?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and on my author's page. You've got on Facebook. T.A. Bird. You can find me either on Amazon, but if you go to T.A. Bird on author's page.
Well, hopefully we'll see her book out next month.
Probably as Tina Bird. But message me and I'll send you one. But from me here in Southampton in the UK, it's goodbye and goodbye to Tommy. And thank you for our viewers this evening. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Tina.
Bye-bye.
Pleasure.
And I'll see you next week, Tommy.
Next week. All right, Tina Bird, great person. One of the few people. I've been in this since 1958, people, a long time. I worked with the abductees in the 70s, the 80s. I'm talking about women that lost their children, provable. I mean, the people that I dealt with, I wasn't into making money. I didn't take their names and then trying to make them into a book or nothing like that. These people are trying to live their lives and deal with what they're going through. And they don't need more people saying, "Oh, that's the person that did blah, 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 blah." No, this is reality, people. And if you're ready to face what's going to happen, this is the only place to come to, because I'm listening to everybody out there speaking and they're not offering anything beneficial. Now, I will say this. Talking about UFOs is not going to help save you as a soul, spirit, when you die or any of those things. That's what I do. I do my own workshop. I have that going on right now. I do a spiritual show, what I call spiritual. Not that there's anything really spiritual on this planet right now. But there is a serious thing going on, and mankind's following the wrong thing. And it's sure not God. It's sure not love. I mean, love is a secondary word because love's not the most important word on the planet either. So we're going far stream. We're following speakers from ancient aliens and people that wrote like about the Anunnaki and stuff like that, which is not beneficial to the human race. to believe they created us, and those kind of stories are useless for us right now anyway, even if they were real. All right. I mean, we're developing the best we can. We could be, but ever since Atlantis was destroyed, we chose not to. We chose war, hate, anger, stealing, robbery, rape, and all those other words. We didn't need them. They didn't need to be here. Alien races like those words because they can take people. When there's a war, they abduct more people. I know. She said, Tina said something about they need more people. No, they need more people on the planets they're creating. All right. There was one race particularly said that they have another world just like ours, and they're trying to make it grow and be a food supply for them. So yeah, they got a lot of work they're doing, but it's not beneficial to us. And I wish I could read what that person's putting in the chat room. I'll have to check it out later. But you know, I'm going through a lot. My partner is at the clinic right now. She died 3 times a month and a half ago. They saved her all 3 times. And then they had to put a pacemaker in her heart, on her heart. And she's not doing very good right now. So I'm dealing with that. I mean, I'm taking the best care of her as I can, hoping she can get through it and come out all right. So yeah, I'm dealing with a lot. My brother had his shots, people. He had 3 of them. Now he has one of the worst cases of dementia. You know, I can't get into it too much because it'll take this show down real fast on me. But the truth is there. Pull up government files. They tell you what's going on. They tell you how many animals were killed, how many people were killed. Not many people. When they tested it and things like that. What's really in it? You could pull up the chart. What's in the vaccine for the flu? My brother worked for the company that made it. And he was taking it. I said, are you on drugs? So, you know, people that seem smart are not very smart. People that are stupid are probably much smarter. Now, do you know what the word crazy means? You don't accept morals of the normal people. And right now you shouldn't. We had many more morals 50 years ago than we do now. I don't think there's a person on this planet that could live by all the morals that we created originally. I mean, even the 10 Commandments were morals, how to live. They didn't hurt people to live by them. Nothing in the 10 Commandments could hurt or destroy or sabotage the planet or you. So, oh, well, they're outdated. Yeah, they're outdated because they try to keep people in balance and harmony. We need chaos and hate and anger and kill and murder. We need all those things. So, yeah, it's not usable now. So, people, you want to learn things, tune into my other show. Please, I answer questions and I help people deal with what they're dealing with that way. But we're changing. We're changing into the negative side. I mean, as a person, as a being, as anything, we accept the negative. We agree with it instead of stopping. Even Jesus said, if the laws are unjust, you change them. But if they are the laws, you have to live by them. You can't be a free person and say, I don't have to live by the laws and not change them because you're still going to go to jail. If people cared enough, we could vote and change and get rid of the laws that don't belong here and put in new laws. I mean, marijuana doesn't hurt people. Drinking does. We legalize drinking, but we don't legalize marijuana. Well, we're starting to. I mean, even Hawaii, the head person of Hawaii goes, well, let's see how the other countries do, how the other states do, and let's see what happens with them. Hawaii needs money more than probably any other state right now, except the ones that had a disaster. But there's just so much stuff going on, people. People are seeing things, and what do they do with it? I mean, I'm going to put a video together with many of the videos I shot over the past year of ships and everything else, but is that going to change anything? No, I do a show on how to search for your spiritual truth, and it's not listen to any religious group, and there's 2,000 of them or even more right now, and they have nothing to offer you about God. Only two religions that I know out of all of them have a clue. And they're still grounded by programmed ideas and everything else. But they're the only ones that teach you. The most important thing is how to get out of your body. Because you're going to die. No matter how old you live, you're going to die. And are you ready to travel once you let go of the body? Do you know where you're going to go? Do you know what you're going to do? Do you know what rights you have when you do leave your body? You don't become an angel. You don't become a god. So all the concepts like you're going to be here helping your family, no, you're not. You're not a super being. And you're not an angel. Belief is one thing. And good things happen. Oh, that's my angel. Bad things happen. Oh, that's Satan. But most people don't even believe in Satan. And he's controlling the whole world right now. He's winning. I mean, if you read Revelations, not that the Bible has a lot of truth in it, but how the goddess, this God being is going to come down and have a war with Satan. Well, when God decides that we can't move forward, which we're not, it's going to change reality. I mean, it did it many times. I mean, when dinosaurs lived with humans, for a word, call them cavemen, call them whatever you want. Well, when they lived together, it wasn't working. I mean, we can't work with other things. And now there's only 4 races here on this planet. All right, there was 9 in Atlantis. Those 4 races can't get along. But seriously, it's not the black people that have been persecuted only. Look at the native people. 50 million native people killed in 400 years. And that's pretty sad, sick, and any other word you want to use. Now, history is so screwed up, people. The Egyptians followed an idiot, I don't know what kind of word I could call it, and a pathetic alien as a god. The whole pyramids are drawn with carvings and symbols and about reincarnation, which have nothing to do with the facts. Even what they did to the bodies when they died to help them reincarnate. Ridiculous ideas, and they just made fun of the human race. All right, Egyptians weren't spiritual. The Mayans weren't spiritual. You can't be spiritual and kill somebody. You can't be spiritual and sacrifice somebody. You can't be spiritual and rape somebody. The concepts that we perceive, oh, I'm a spiritual person. What makes you spiritual? What is spiritual? Nothing that exists in planet hell. All right. It's about getting out of hell, not going into it. All right. You are in it. Dante's Inferno, all these levels of hell. No, we are there. All the different levels of hell he described are here on this planet. So it's not like you're going to go into another realm and your soul's going to get burnt up or freeze or any of those things. It can't. No person, no being in these realms can kill a soul. All right? I mean, you could change it and move it around because it's unaware, but you're not going to be able to kill it. All right? Even on the astral plane, you can't kill people. So there's a lot of things to learn, and nobody wants to learn that. They want to learn how good aliens are going to come save us. From what? What do you think they can teach you to make you a better person? Or a real person, an honest person, a caring person? All right? Sending unconditional love to the planet. I live with a llama. All right? I'm not going to go into the details. But Buddha didn't believe in God. And he didn't. There was 4 Buddhas, believe it or not, but they didn't believe in God. They didn't teach about God. They talked about the bliss state. I call it the last space on the astral plane where your soul gets to rest if that's what it wants. But if you stay there too long, you forget where you're going because you have no ideas, no thoughts, and you're not creating. Living in the light and sound is a great experience for a short period of time. Been there, done it. So why stay there? You don't want to lose who you are because that's why you were created, to find out who and what you are as a soul being. And when you travel after you leave this realm, it's just you. It's not your family, your friends, your children, your animals. It's just you and God. And God allows you to create. When you start creating your world and things, that's your world. You're not God, but you can play God with the world like aliens play with the Mayans and the Aztecs. But see, God's plan is to make people spiritual enough to be aware of what they do and create. If you give the same powers to some pathetic person that has no feelings and emotions on this planet. They can do anything they want, which is what we don't want. We want to move forward. Just think, 8 billion people work together. If we work together, what we could create. And we don't. So we're moving into this hell zone deeper and deeper. We expect the aliens to come and help us. All right. And then we got these UFO conferences telling you, well, the good aliens are doing this and the government's doing this. What are they doing? Making ships? They're all fighting whose ships were what. When the ships came over to the UN in 1952, they couldn't do a thing about it. Truman was afraid. He was definitely afraid because it came over a couple times that week and they couldn't do a thing about it. And they still can't. Here, they know how to kill aliens. Different races, there's different ways to kill them. Government's not moving slowly about that either. What they did, but one alien race, which I do not know what race it was, I wish I did, gave Tesla the wrong information. Information that we shouldn't have had. We do not need time travel, and we do not need quantum physics to make this world a better place. To change it into some giant matrix, it's a great thing. And people, when they talk about going to dimensions, we're still in the physical dimension. Oh, well, it's a different dimension. No, it's not. The physical dimension has 3 different levels. The same as the astral plane has 3 different levels. And each one of those realms has 3 within that. So we can go into dimensions, but it's still here. As long as you're playing with protons, neutrons, electrons, and things like that, you're still in the physical reality. And we need to move forward, which I don't see happening anyway soon. The world's going to have to be destroyed greatly, but that's what the New World Order wants. But they think they're all going to be safe because they got money and they could build a house underground or get on Mars and get somewhere else. It's not going to happen, people. God doesn't come down to this realm. God doesn't deal with us. God created a lot of little gods, I call them, deities, to work with us. You think God cares if you go to the bathroom? All right, people. Peace, love, compassion. I got to get this call. It's an emergency. All right. Till next time, next week, or tune into my other show, Hawksblood 1. Tune in on it. Thank you. Sorry to end so fast. Peace.